All right, everyone, it is 11 o'clock on the dot. Let's get started. How's everyone feeling today? I heard a little bit of sounds of life, but I need a little bit more. Come on, how are you feeling today? There it is. Awesome. All right. Hey, everyone. My name is Elisha. I'm so happy to have you all here. We're doing our free sessions of yoga class for the rest of June, so I hope to see you for the rest of the month. Otherwise, today you're in for a treat. We're going to be doing some balancing poses, and we will be finishing with tree pose, and that is in honor of this beautiful eucalyptus tree we have here. I'm going to switch up the music, and I like to start all of my classes with a seated meditation. So just make sure that you can come to a comfortable seat. We'll be here for a few moments. You can sit cross-legged, you can sit on your knees, you can place your hands in your lap, on your thighs, whatever feels good for you. Take a few moments to get settled in here. Start to bring your awareness to your breath. We'll start to take long, deep inhales in through the nose. Big, open mouth, sigh, let it go. Start to roll the shoulders up to the ears. Roll it back down along the spine. And then see if you can gently rock side to side. And maybe see if you can sit up a little bit taller. Imagine a string from the crown of the head that is pulling you up towards the sky, elongating the spine here. Feel the gentle wind blowing across the skin. We'll take a quick body scan here. So starting from the top of the head, see if you can release tension in between the eyebrows. See if you can release tension in the jaw. See if you can release tension in the neck, the shoulders. Scanning down through the right side of the body, releasing tension in your bicep, your elbow, your forearm, the wrist, and all the way out through the left fingers. And then scanning back up at the top right of the arm, the shoulder, the bicep, the elbow, the forearm, the wrist, and up through the fingers. And then moving back up to the top of the chest, releasing tension in the chest, the abdomen, the hips, and finally where the seat meets the floor. Scanning down through the left leg, releasing tension in the left thigh, the knee, the calf, the ankle, and finally out through the left toes. And then moving onto the right side, releasing tension in the thigh, in the knee, in the calf, and finally out through the toes. We're going to take a few more moments of silence here. I'm going to go quiet and let you tune into your breath. We'll take 3 breaths and then we'll start to come back. If you notice the mind starts to wander, just bring it back here to this space. Bring it back to your breath. We'll take one big collective breath all together, wherever you are. We'll take a big breath, inhale in through the nose. Big open mouth, sigh, let it go. We'll take one more breath all together. Inhale, breathe in through the nose. This time, hold it at the top. Big open mouth, sigh, let it go. Just take a moment to notice how you feel in this moment, in your body, at this present time. Whenever you feel ready, we'll begin to slowly open the eyes and come back into this space. All right. From your seated position, if you're seated on your knees, let us meet in a cross-legged position. Switch the crossings of your legs. So we've been sitting one way, let's switch it up and go the other way just to give some balance into the body. Drop your arms by your side, maybe rock side to side to ground into the floor here. We're gonna start to warm up the body with a few neck rolls. So whenever you feel ready, begin to drop the chin down to the chest and then start to roll it over to the left shoulder and then roll it over to the right, making these half circles. If you would like to add some additional movement, maybe you start to increase the circumference of the circles, getting bigger, and maybe you start to gaze up at the sky. Only if that feels okay on the neck. We'll take 2 more rotations here. And the next time that the chin comes over to the right side, hold it there. On your next inhale, begin to lift your right arm up overhead, and then bring that on top of the left ear. So mirroring you here. Excellent job. If you would like to get deeper into the stretch, you can begin to walk the left fingers out to the side, tenting up on those fingers. We're not pulling down on the neck here. We're just using that hand on top of the ear as weight. And your final option here today, if you'd like to get deeper into the stretch, on your next inhale, begin to lift your left hand up, press it into an imaginary wall. Fingers are facing up towards the sky. So keeping that activation of the wrist and the fingers. We're holding it here. One more breath. At the end of your next exhale, gently release that left hand down. Release your right hand down. Begin to slowly roll the neck over to the other side, and we'll do the same thing here. On your next inhale, lift your left arm up overhead. Place it on top of the right ear. And just let gravity start to do the work here. So we're not pulling on the neck. We're just having that extra weight on top. Feeling that length and that stretch along the side of the neck here. If you want a deeper stretch, begin to walk those right fingertips out to the side, tent up on those fingers for a little bit more height. And your final option here today, on your next inhale, begin to lift your right hand up, press an imaginary wall out to the side. Right fingers are facing up, feeling that deep activation in the wrist, through the forearm. Hold it here, one more breath. Hold it through the exhale. On your next inhale, begin to drop that hand down. Drop the hand onto the on top of the ear, and then begin to gently roll the chin back to chest. Lift the head back up. On your next inhale, we'll begin to sweep both arms up overhead. Reach up towards the sky. See if you can wiggle the fingers and get even taller. Give me a wave. Show me that you're out there. Nice. And then exhale, begin to bring the hands back down. Tent up on those fingers. Roll the shoulders back. Imagine you have a tennis ball in between the chin and the chest. And on your next exhale, begin to walk the hands down in front of you, hinging from the hips here. So instead of rounding the back to get deeper into this, see if you can keep the back nice and flat as you hinge from the hips forward. You can stay here. If you want to make this more dynamic, on your next inhale, begin to lift the chest up halfway. And exhale, using the breath, see if you can get deeper into this pose. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, coming into our deepest expression of the pose today, hinging forward. We'll hold it here, 2 more breaths, just letting this feel good. Final breath here. Hold through the exhale. Your inhale begins to lift you back up. Begin to walk those hands back to center. And however feels best for you today, we'll come into a tabletop position. So you can either press yourself forward and uncross your legs, or you can simply move your legs out to the side. We're meeting in a tabletop pose. So for tabletop, spread the fingers out really, really wide. The pointer finger faces either to the top of the mat, or it can face the top corner if you're feeling tightness in the chest here. Shoulders are stacking on top of the wrist, hips are on top of the knees. Knees are about hip distance apart, and you can always measure that by bringing two fists together and then bringing that in between your knees. We'll start to warm up the spine with cat and cow. Begin to gaze down at the floor. On your next exhale, begin to drop the belly, roll the shoulders back, begin to lift gaze up. Exhale, we push the ground away, moving into cat pose, gazing down at the mat, gazing at the thighs, or maybe one day gazing at the navel, making that inverse U shape with the spine. Inhale, drop the belly, roll the shoulders back, moving into cow pose, lifting the chest, feeling that expansion of the back here. Exhale, tuck tailbone under, moving back into cat pose. Now I invite you to continue moving through these two movements, timing each movement with your cycle of breath. If you would like to close your eyes here, really coming into that mind-muscle connection, now is your chance. And I also invite you to continue to explore. Maybe you begin to add some additional movement here. Maybe that's by rocking the hips side to side. Maybe you bend one elbow at a time, dipping one shoulder at a time. Maybe you start to make some figure eights with the body. Or maybe you begin to make some big circles with the body by bringing the shoulders past the wrist and then circling to the side and bringing the hips back towards the heels. So whatever choice you choose to make here today, continue grounding into the hands, giving you that good support system here, alleviating tension in the joints, making that contact here. We'll be here for a few more rounds, just letting this feel good, shaking out the body, doing whatever you need to in this moment. Connecting to your breath. We'll take one more big cycle of breath here, around wherever you are. And we'll start to come back into a neutral tabletop position, shoulders stacking over the wrist, gazing down at the floor. Start to ground into the left hand. On your next inhale, right arm sweeps up overhead, gaze follows the floor. And exhale, thread the right wrist between the left hand and the left knee, coming down to a shoulder stretch here. The right palm is facing up, the shoulders making contact with the floor. If you would like to get a little bit deeper into this pose, you can start to walk the left fingertips out to the top of the mat, or you can take a half bind here by reaching the left hand behind the back and try to grab the inside of the right thigh. See if you can square the hips back. You notice that one is shifting forward. Nice adjustment. See you back there. Great job. We'll take one more big breath here. Hold it through the exhale. On your next inhale, we'll start to come out of it if that hand is reaching behind the back. Bring that other hand underneath the shoulder. Start to ground into that left hand. Inhale, right arm lifts up. Gaze follows the hand. And exhale, bring that right hand back down. Gently rock the hips side to side to reset, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. Begin to ground into the right hand. Inhale, left arm sweeps up overhead. Gaze follows the hand. And exhale, left hand threads between the right wrist and the right knee. Left shoulder comes down to the floor. Left palm is facing up towards the sky. See if you can make contact with the floor with that hand so it'll have a nice, strong foundation there. Nice. And same as you did on the other side, you can begin to walk those right fingertips up towards the top of the mat, or you can take that half bind here by reaching the hand behind the back and grab the inside of the left thigh. If you're reaching that hand behind the back, see if you can square the hips if you notice that one is starting to reach in front of the other. Nice job. We'll take one more big breath here wherever you are. Hold it through the exhale. On your next inhale, we start to come back out of it. If the hand is reaching behind the back, bring it back down to the floor. Start to ground into that hand. Inhale, arm sweeps up overhead to come back out. And exhale, bring that left hand back down. Gently rock the hips side to side. We're going to start to come into our first downward facing dog of class. Whenever you feel ready, begin to curl the toes under. lift the hips up towards the sky, downward facing dog. So making sure that our downward facing dog foundation is nice and strong today. Spread those fingers out really, really wide. Make sure that you're pointing those pointer fingers up towards the top of the mat, or you can point into that top left and right corner if you feel tension in those traps. For our first downward facing dog, have a generous bend of the knees, so warming up those hamstrings. And then from here, see if you can press the hips towards the back of our meadow. You can shake the head yes, you can shake the head no, release the tension here. You can also start to walk your dog out. Start by pedaling the feet out, bend one knee at a time. Just letting this feel good. Your feet are about hip distance apart from one another. Heels are lifted, feet are in a nice straight line. Imagine that you're on railroad tracks here. We'll take one more big breath here all together. Inhale, breathe in through the nose. Big open outside, let it go, release. Begin to bend the knees super deep, look towards the front of the room, and start to slowly walk the feet to meet the hands. We meet all together in a forward fold position. Generously bend the knees here to start. You have two options here. You can either grab opposite elbows, let the head hang heavy, and gently rock side to side, and this will help you release tension in the low back. You can bend one knee at a time as you gently rock side to side. Your other option here today is to interlace the fingers behind the back, let the arms hang heavy overhead, and then from here, start by bending one knee at a time as you gently rock side to side. Imagine that you're a metronome, moving with each breath side to side. Whatever option you choose here today, the choice is yours. Do what feels best for you today in your body. There's no right or wrong. If you notice that you're starting to feel a little bit imbalanced in these poses, you can open the feet out wider, and this will give you a stronger foundation, a wider base, and allow you to get a little bit deeper into those poses. If you can't quite interlace the fingers behind the back, if you have a jacket, you can use that to create some extra space, and then bring the arms up overhead. We'll take two more big breaths here. Final breath. And wherever you are at the end of your next exhale, let the arms hang heavy, let the head hang heavy. Coming back into our forward fold position. Slower than you want to, we begin to roll up to a standing position, stacking one vertebrae at a time. When you get up to the top, roll the shoulders up to the ears, roll them back down along the spine, and then let the hands face forward. We're going to start from the top of the mat. We're going to move through two sun salutations, which is a fancy way of saying we're going to be doing our vinyasas. Our first one is modified. The second one will be our full version. You're more than welcome to modify throughout the rest of your practice, but I will be demonstrating the full ones at the front. Are you ready? You're way better the first time. Let me hear this again. All right. Are we ready? There it is. All right. Starting from the top. Feet are about hip distance apart. Inhale, bend the knees, sweep arms up overhead, reach up towards the sky, wiggle the fingers, see if you can get even taller. Exhale, swan dive forward, hinge forward, soft bend the knees, dive forward. Inhale, halfway lift, hands on the shins or the thighs, roll the shoulders back, gazing down at the floor, make that L shape with the body here. Exhale, begin to bend the knees, place the hands on the mat, step back into a high plank position. We're holding it here for just a moment. Start to lower the knees down, untuck the toes, tops of the feet are on the floor. Glue the elbows into your side, slowly lower down all the way. Elbows are glued into your side so the tops of the elbows are facing up towards the sky. Hands are underneath your shoulders. On your next inhale, begin to lift the chest up for cobra. Again, imagine you have that tennis ball in between the chin and the chest. See if you can use your back strength here to lift up. Weight is so light in the hands, maybe you lift the hands up off the floor. Nice job. Drop the hands down, drop the chest down, ground into the hands, lift up, bring the hips back towards the heels, curl toes under, come back into your downward facing dog. We'll take one big breath here all together. Inhale, breathe in through the nose. Exhale, breathe out through the mouth. Start to come back into stillness. Bend the knees, look towards the front of the mat. Start to walk the feet to meet the hands, feeding back in a forward fold position. Inhale, halfway lift, hands on shins, on thighs, roll the shoulders back. And exhale, let it go, forward fold. Ground into the feet, root to rise. Inhale, sweep arms up overhead, reach up towards the sky. And exhale, bring hands back to your center, and then release them by your side. Great job, everyone. We're gonna do the same thing this time with our full vinyasas here. You have the option to modify by lowering your knees down. Begin to release your hands by your side. Inhale, bend into the knees, sweep arms up overhead, reach up towards the sky. Exhale, dive forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bring hands down on the mat, step back into a high plank position. Option to modify by lowering the knees down. Otherwise, standing strong here in our high plank position. Start to shift forward, shoulders move past wrist, ground into your hands, lower down halfway. You guys beat me to it. Inhale, upward facing dog, drop the hips, roll the shoulders back, gaze to the front of the room. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lift the hips up towards the sky. We've been here before. We take one big breath here. Inhale, breathe in through the nose. Exhale, release through the mouth. Begin to bend into the knees, look towards the front. Begin to walk the feet to meet the hands, meeting in a forward fold position. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward, release. Start to ground into the feet. Inhale, sweep arms back up overhead, reach up towards the sky. And exhale, bring hands back to heart center and release them. All right, we're gonna move through a sun C. Start to bring the feet back together, setting up your Utkatasana chair pose. Begin to bend the knees super deep. Sweep hands across the floor, arms reach up overhead. Shift the weight back into the heels. So instead of tucking our hips back, see if you can tuck the tailbone under, engaging our core here. Arms are reaching up overhead. Weight is back in the heels so much, making sure to lift the toes up off the ground, lower them back down. Nice job. We're here for 3 more breaths. You can stay here or on your next exhale, maybe see if you can sink a little bit lower. Keep that engagement in the core. One more big breath here, maybe seeing if you can sink even deeper. And on your next exhale, forward fold, release, let it go. Your choice of vinyasa here. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands on the mat. Option to step or hop back into a high plank position. Your choice here, shifting forward into your chaturanga, or lowering your knees and modifying. We all meet back together in a downward facing dog. Excellent job, everyone. On your next inhale, begin to lift your left leg up. And then stack your left hip on top of the right. And you can make some circles with the knee here, circles with the ankle. If you would like to flip your dog, you can do that now. If you're flipping your dog, press the hips up towards the sky, being mindful of your neighbor. Nice job. If you're going one way with those circles with the knees, circles with the ankles, switch it up, go the opposite direction. If you're flipping your dog, we'll start to come back out of it. All of us will meet back together. Kick your left foot back, left toes face down. Look towards the front of the room. Step the left foot in between your hands, moving into a low lunge position. So hands are on the floor. Curl those right toes under. Lower that right knee down. Hands on hips. On your next inhale, lift the chest back up. So take a moment to check in on our foundation here, making sure the knee is on top of the ankle. Make sure that the knee is behaving in, go to the side. It's in a nice straight line here. Shoulders stacking on top of the hips. And again, instead of pressing the hips back, tuck the tailbone under, engage the core here, nice and strong. On your next inhale, sweep arms up overhead. If you feel tightness in your upper traps, see if you can open the hands wider and turn the pinkies in. Nice, great choices, everyone. We're here for just one more big breath. On your next exhale, begin to cartwheel the hands all the way down to the mat. Ground into your right hand. Option to stay here with that right knee lowered, or you can begin to curl right toes up and lift that right knee up. On your next inhale, left arm sweeps up overhead, coming into that gentle twist. And exhale, bring that left hand all the way back down. Ground it to the hands, step your left foot back, downward facing dog. Option to take a vinyasa here. or you can stay in a downward facing dog or take a child's pose. We will all meet back in our downward facing dog in just a moment. Just remember, it's your body. These are all just options. Take what feels best for you in this moment, on this day. From your downward facing dog, we'll do the same thing on the other side. On your next inhale, lift your right leg up. And exhale, stack the right hip on top of the left. And from here, you can make circles with the knee, circles with the ankle. And if you flipped your dog on the other side, you are more than welcome to do so. If you're flipping your dog, see if you can press the hips up towards the sky. Nice, great adjustment back there, I see you. See if you can feel that long line of energy extending out through those fingertips. Nice job. If your dog's flipped, see if you can wave to me. Really give you that activation. Nice, I see you back there. Hey. If your dog is flipped, we'll start to come back out of it. If you're going one way with those circles, we'll start to go the other way. We're all meeting back in our one-legged dog here. Start to kick those toes back down, look towards the front of the room, step the right foot in between the hands, meeting back in that low lunge position. So lower that left knee down, starting first with support. Make sure that the knee is on top of the ankle, and curl those left toes under for more support. Place your hands on your hips. Inhale, begin to lift the chest up. Nice, so use your hands on the hips, see if you can square the hips. If you notice that one is moving in front of the other, back toes are pressing down, really keeping that activation strong in the legs. And again, make sure that the knee is not caving in or out. Nice straight line, everyone is looking really good. On your next inhale, sweep arms up overhead. Roll the shoulders away from the ears. Hold it here, one more big breath. And exhale, cartwheel the hands all the way down to the floor. Option to keep that left knee lowered, or if you would like a little bit more, begin to curl left toes under, lift left knee up, ground into that left hand, inhale, right arm sweeps up overhead. And exhale, bring that right hand down, step that right foot back, moving into a downward facing dog. Your choice, you can take a vinyasa here, you can skip it, you can take a child's pose. We'll all meet back together in a downward facing dog in just a moment. Bringing some heat into the body, warming up the body on this beautiful, warm, sunny June day. We'll take one big breath here, all together in a downward facing dog. On your next inhale, take a big breath here. Big open mouth sigh. All right, getting ready for our warrior two. Begin by lifting your left leg up, step the left foot in between the hands, pivot the right foot down. On your next inhale, sweep both arms up overhead and gaze past your middle finger of the left hand. Make sure that the front left heel is in line with the arch of the back right foot. Press into the pinky side edge of that back foot, and then take a moment to gaze at the hand behind you, making sure it's not off to the side or down here. It's a nice straight parallel line. Engaging our core. You can start to make some circles with the wrist. You can also take that other stretch we did at the beginning of class by pressing two walls away, really feeling that nice stretch in the wrist here. We're here for one more big breath. Inhale and exhale, release. Begin to straighten your front left leg, small micro bend in the knee here. Begin to reach forward, and then bring the left hand down. Right arm reaches up overhead, triangle pose. So see if you can stack that right hand on top of the left. Need more support, you can grab onto your shin. Otherwise, gazing either straight in front of you, or you can lift the gaze at the sky. We're here for two more breaths. Keep pressing into that pinky side edge, that back foot. Final breath here. On your next inhale, we lift back up, warrior two. We reverse our warrior, flip that left palm forward, reach forward, left arm reaches up overhead, right hand to the right thigh or the right calf, or maybe you reach it behind the back. On your next exhale, we cartwheel the hands all the way down to the floor. Your choice here, you can step or hop back, high plank position, take a chaturanga here, move through your vinyasa, or you can stay in a child's pose or a downward facing dog. The choice is always yours. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Getting ready for our warrior two. You're in a child's pose, start to come back up, meeting in our downward facing dog. On your next inhale, we lift that right leg back up. Step the right foot in between the hands, pivot that left foot down, 45-degree angle. Inhale, we lift both arms up overhead. So roll the shoulders up to the ears, roll them back down along the spine, and then take a moment to gaze at the hand behind you, making sure it's in space where you think it is, not off to the side, not down here. Nice and parallel to the floor. Then start to bring the gaze past the middle finger of the right hand. Keep that bend to that front right knee, and then see if you can press into the pinky side edge of that back foot. We're here for 2 more breaths. And a big breath here. Hold it through the exhale. On your next inhale, begin to straighten that front right knee. Reach forward. Right hand comes down, left hand lifts back up, triangle pose. So small micro bend in that front right knee, protecting the knee here. You can place your hand on your shin. You need more support today. And then see if you can roll that left shoulder so that you're stacking that hand on top. Nice, great adjustment back here. We're here for 2 full breaths. Final big breath here. Hold it through the exhale. On your next inhale, begin to bend to that right knee. Inhale, lifts you back up, warrior 2. Turn that right palm forward, reach forward, reverse your warrior. Right arm reaches up overhead, left hand on left thigh, left calf, or maybe you reach it behind the back. Getting deeper into the stretch here. Keep the bend in that front right knee. On your next inhale, we cartwheel the hands all the way down to the floor. Option to step, hop back into a high plank, take your down dog, or take a child's pose. Take your vinyasa here. We all meet back together in a downward facing dog. Absolutely no rush at all to get there. Just letting this feel good. All right. Listen carefully. We're going to get ready to move into a warrior 1. So from your downward facing dog, begin to pivot your right foot at a 45-degree angle, and then step the left foot behind the left hand. So shortening our stance here. Excellent. From here, place the hands on the hips. Inhale, lift the chest up. So unlike warrior 2, we have a shorter stance for our warrior 1. Place the hands on the hips. See if you can square the hips forward. Bend into that front left knee. Press into the pinky side edge. Shoulders stacking on top of the hips. So tucking the tailbone under. Once you feel nice and strong here, on your next inhale, arms lift up overhead. 2 options for you. Palms can either face in towards one another, or you can bring your hands together and then lift the gaze at the sky. If you're lifting the gaze at the sky, keep that bend in that front left knee and keep pressing into that pinky side edge of that back foot. If you notice that back heel is lifting, you may need to shorten your stance. Make sure that the heel is planted firmly on the ground. Hold it here. 1 more big breath. And on your next exhale, begin to release your hands down to your hips. We're going to move into a warrior 3. Begin to lift that right heel up. Slowly bend into that left knee. Begin to drag that right foot until the weight is so light in that right foot, maybe that you begin to lift it up. Try to make an inverse, or rather try to make a T shape with the body. Use the hands on the hips to ground the hips, square the hips down to the floor, and then see if you can lift that right leg back from here. You fall out of it, completely okay. Soft bend in that front left knee. We're strengthening our ankles, we're strengthening our nervous system, letting the body figure out what we're doing here. If you want more of a challenge in this pose, you can try opening the arms out to the side, coming into our airplane wings, or your final challenge of the day is try to reach your arms up overhead. Imagine that you're grabbing a big beach ball. Try to find a fixed place down on the floor. Core is engaged. Whole body is engaged. We're here for 3 more breaths. Yes, you can. You got it. Keep breathing here. Final breath in this pose. And at the end of your next exhale, start to bring the hands back on the hips. Start to lower that right foot down for just a moment. On your next inhale, begin to lift that right leg up, and we're gonna move into an eagle pose. So begin to bring that right knee on top of the left, and then you can place that foot down to the side, like a tripod. Arms can reach out to the side, and then bring the left hand underneath the rings, elbows meet, and you can grab opposite shoulders. If you want more, begin to ground into that left foot. Right foot reaches behind the back calf. And if you want even more today, see if you can bring the palms together. If none of this feels good for you today, hands can go on shoulders, you can bring that foot back down. If you want more of a challenge in this pose, see if you can bend deeper into the knee as you lift the hands up. Core is engaged. We're here for 2 more breaths. And if you're just trying to figure out what's going on, that's completely okay too. 1 more big breath here. And exhale, start to come back out of it. Release your hands, release the feet back down, shake it out. Your choice to take a vinyasa, or you can just meet in a downward facing dog. Inhale, we sweep arms back up. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, upward facing, or better. Inhale, lift. Exhale, hands on the mat, step or hop back. Downward facing dog, chaturanga. We all meet back in a downward facing dog. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Then we're gonna take our peak pose, our tree pose. On your next inhale, getting ready for our warrior one on the other side. This time, pivot the right foot down the left foot down 45-degree angle. Step that right foot behind the right hand, hands on hips. Inhale, lift the chest up. So setting up our foundation nice and strong here. Use the hands on the hips, square the hips. Press into the pinky side edge of that left foot. Bend into that right knee. Once you feel nice and strong here, arms lift up overhead. Same as before, you have the option for the palms to face in, or you can bring the hands together and lift the gaze at the sky. If you're lifting the gaze at the sky, keep that bend in that front right knee. See if you can roll the shoulders away from the ears. 1 more big breath here. And exhale, begin to release the hands down to the hips. Begin to shift the weight onto that right foot. Lift that left heel up. Slowly drag that left foot until weight gets so light in that left foot, you begin to lift that left foot off the ground. Use your hands on the hips to square the hips down. Small micro bend in that front right knee. And see if you can drop the chest until it's parallel with the mat. Energetically, you're kicking that back foot. Toes are facing down towards the floor. Nice job. If you want more of a challenge here today, see if you can open your arms out to the side, coming into those airplane wings. And your final challenge today is to reach arms up overhead. Imagine that you're grabbing that big imaginary beach ball overhead. And if you fall out of it, it's totally okay. We're on grass. We're just here to have a good time out in the sun. 2 more big breaths here. Yes, you can. Final big breath here. And on your next exhale, wherever you are, we bring the hands back to the hips. Slowly lower that left foot down. Begin to bring it in front of you, and we move back into that eagle pose. So this time, left foot is crossing on top of the right. You can first start by placing that foot off to the side, making that tripod. Arms reach to the side, right hand comes down underneath, elbows reach. And you can start by first grabbing opposite shoulders, or you can bring those hands together, and you can bring that back foot behind your left knee. See if you can find a fixed place down in front of you. You can stay here, or if you want more of a challenge, begin to bend into those knees as you lift your arms up overhead, and that'll give you that nice stretch in the back of the shoulders. Whatever choice you choose today, we're here for 3 more breaths. See if you're holding tension in between the eyebrows or in the jaw. See if you can let that go. 2 more breaths here. Yes, you can. Final breath here. And we start to come back out of it. Meeting at the top of your mat, we shake it out, your final vinyasa of the day. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, hands on the mat, high plank. Option to step or hop back. And you can either move into a downward facing dog, take your vinyasa, whatever choice you would like. We meet in our downward facing dog. And then we're getting ready for our final peak pose, our tree pose. From your downward facing dog, begin to look towards the front of the room, the front of the meadow. Begin to bend the knees, slowly walk the feet to meet the hands, meeting in a forward fold position. And then we start to slowly roll up the spine, stacking one vertebrae at a time. We get up to the top, roll the shoulders up to the ears, and roll them back down. So we're moving into our peak pose, our tree pose, in honor of our beautiful tree over here. For those of you who know tree pose, you're more than welcome to get into it. Otherwise, you begin by grounding into your right foot. Place that left foot either at the base of the ankle, on the calf, or maybe you lift it up on the inner thigh. Hands can go on the hips to start until you find that grounding. You can place hands into a prayer position. Or for your biggest challenge of the day, begin to lift arms up overhead, growing those branches up. If you feel really strong here and you want even more of a challenge, imagine that you're blowing your branches into the tree, gently rocking side to side. Feeling the wind, gently moving the branches. You can make this movement even bigger if you would like. See if you can find a fixed point to look at. Just have fun with it. We're here for 2 more breaths. Final breath here. And slowly begin to lower back down. Hands come back into a prayer pose. Release that foot all the way down and shake out that foot. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Start to ground into that left foot. Starting with the right foot, either on the ankle, you can bring it on the calf, or maybe start to bring it to the inside of the thigh. Hands can start on the hips to start. You can bring it into a prayer position. We can add a challenge to the mind. And on your exhale, you want even more. Start to lift the forward. Making sure that you're not placing the foot on the knee. We don't want to pull the knee joints. Final breath there. And exhale, begin to bring the hand all the way down. Release the foot. Shake it out. Alright, wonderful job, everyone. Begin to bend to the knees. We're going to come all the way down into the back. So begin to take a seated position. Grab the back of the thighs and slowly lower down all the way. With a bridge pose, hands are down on the floor, facing down. So you can bring the heels close to the glutes. So maybe one day you even begin to raise the heels with the hands, maybe from hip distance apart. On your next inhale, tuck the low back and press it into the floor. And on your next exhale, lift the hips up towards the sky, moving into a bridge pose. Make sure that the knees aren't caving in or out. They're in a nice straight line. Press into the heels to lift the hips up even higher. Pressing into the hands for even more grounding here. We're here for 2 more breaths. Feeling the whole posterior change, the whole backside of the body activating. 1 more big breath here. And on your next exhale, slowly lower the hips down all the way. Bring the knees into the chest and gently rock side to side. We're going to take that pose 1 more time. You have the option to take that bridge just as we did that first time. You can also roll onto the tops of the shoulders, and if you feel you can safely navigate it. Alright, we're going to bring the knees all the way back. leg here. You can make some circles with the ankles. You can point and flex the toe. We're just giving our ankles a little bit of a break from all the balancing poses that we did today. If you want a deeper stretch here, you can extend your left leg long. And finally, if you would like even more of a deeper stretch here, you can start to walk those fingers up to your calf, or maybe one day up to your ankle and start to pull that leg in closer into the chest. Really, we want to be focusing on our ankles here, just pointing and flexing, making those circles, and going up, stretching that gentle twist here. If this feels like too much, you can also bend that right knee. This will be a little bit less of a intensity in the pose, and you can either gaze up at the sky, gentle twist here. Slowing down our movement, slowing down our breath. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. On your next inhale, begin to lift back up, coming back to center. Bend both knees in. This time, on your next inhale, lift your left leg up. And begin to interlace the fingers behind the left thigh. Point and flex the toes. Make some circles with the ankle here. And if you would like a little bit more intensity into this pose, begin to extend that right leg long. Or you can begin to walk the fingers up to the calf of the left foot or the ankle. Begin to gently bring that left foot closer in towards the chest. You'll feel that deeper hamstring stretch here. Keep those circles with the ankles, pointing and flexing the toes, just releasing any tension in that leg after all those balancing postures that we did. We'll take a few more final breaths here before we move into that gentle twist on the other side. Final breath here. And exhale. We'll start to come over into that gentle twist and start to bring that leg out to the opposite side. If you need less intensity here, you can bend into that left knee. Arms are open out to a T, and you can either gaze at the sky or you can gaze past your left shoulder if that feels good for you today. Beautiful job, everyone. If you're a little short on space, you can't open your arms out into the T, you can cactus the arms, opening them up into a goalpost. Nice. That'll give you the same benefits of the stretch, just in a little bit of a shorter positioning here. We'll be here for a few more moments. We're going to get ready to close out our practice with Mommy Baby after this, and then you're more than welcome to take any other final poses that you would like before we move into our resting pose or Shavasana. On your next inhale, start to lift both legs back to center. Begin to bend the knees in, and then you can either grab the outside of the ankles, so arms reach in between the legs. You can grab the outside of the ankles, or you can see if you can grab the pinky side edge of your feet, and you can gently stay still or rock side to side. You can extend one leg long, or you can keep both legs static, whatever feels good for you in this moment. After this, we're going to get ready for our final resting pose, our Shavasana. You're more than welcome to take that in any way that you would like. Your legs can extend all the way long. You can bring your feet in together and let the knees fall out to the side for a butterfly, whatever you would like. I have some eucalyptus towels here that I'm going to offer you as a treat for your Shavasana. If you would not like to participate in that, you can simply cross your arms across your chest, and I'll be sure to skip you. I'll also ask you before I place the towels, or give you the towels. Otherwise, getting ready for our final resting pose, our Shavasana, or if there's any other pose you would like to do before we close out our practice, the choice is yours. I will wake you up when we are ready to go. on your next inhale, sweep your arms up overhead, point your toes, see if you can get as big as you can. And on your next exhale, release. Begin to roll over onto your favorite side and gently press yourself back up to a seat. We're going to close out our practice the same way that we started. A few final closing breaths. Just making sure you're in a comfortable position. Whenever you are ready, begin to roll the shoulders up to the ears, roll back down along the spine. See if you can sit up a little bit taller. 3 final breaths here. Inhale, breathe in through the nose. Big open up. 2 more just like that. Inhale, breathe in through the nose. Big open up. Final big breath here. Inhale, breathe in through the nose. This time, hold it at the top. See if you can sip in a little bit more air. Biggest sigh of the day. Thank you for showing up for yourself. Thank you for showing up for each other. And as always, thank you for showing up exactly as you are. You begin to slowly open your eyes. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me here today. I hope you had a wonderful day. We're thrilled to be offering free classes until the end of June, every single Saturday, so there's a couple more. Please stay after for live music by our friends at Illuminate. And we also have some wonderful refreshments here at the bar by our friends at Non Plus Ultra. Remember to return the towels in the clear bin here at the front. If you borrowed a mat, if you can bring it up here. Donations are greatly appreciated. I have a Venmo code here. I also have a jar for cash. Again, my name is Elisha. Feel free to say hi to me after class. And other than that, I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you all so much. Thank you.